Okay, the mic is on, everybody. Mic's on. Okay, the mic is on, everybody. Mic's on. Okay, hi everyone. Good afternoon. It's a quiet day here today. Pretty quiet. We did have a group of adults from, I think it's called the New England Home for the Deaf. I hope I'm getting that correctly. They weren't kids, they weren't students, they were definitely adults. About 8 of them, I guess, and they had a tour of SDP and got to meet a lot of our puppies and the donkeys. They love the donkeys. The bus driver, in fact, liked to hear so much that she says she and her 14-year-old daughter are going to come back and volunteer. So we've won over another group to watch us. Yes, Carlene's sitting in the nursery with Pam and the authors right now. Carlene was out out and about a little bit today. I saw her with the architect at one point. So anyway, it's fairly quiet here today. Fairly quiet in the house. Once my little snail friends go out, it's very quiet here, and it allows me to get some cleaning done. It's impossible to clean with them. So I was able to get some good cleaning done today. I actually got to steam all the floors in all of the rooms. Change fluffies, do laundry, the typical stuff. Took Opal out for a walk a couple of times. Got to spend a lot of time with Opal and with the authors. Maybe you saw me in there. It was nice. It was a nice, quiet, relaxing day. I think we all kind of needed it. So we thank you all for your thoughts and prayers. Not much else I can say, I guess. Beautiful day today, weather-wise sunny, warm, not at all muggy or humid, very nice. And a lot of the kids around here are back in school, are going back to school this week. My buddies Laura and Tanner are going back to school tomorrow, so I will definitely miss them on Mondays and Tuesdays when they are here helping me with the puppies and with various things around the house. They're great kids, as you know, and I will miss having them work with me, but they need to go back to school, so I hope they have a wonderful school year. I've been retired now 2 years, and I can honestly say I do not miss the fact that I'm not going back to school anymore. I loved it when I did it, but it was time for me to pack it in. I'm glad that I did. I still have many friends who work not only in the district I worked in, but in many other districts, and it just gets more and more difficult all the time. But, you know, there's a time for everybody to do everything. I worked some very difficult years, but I loved it. But after 33 years, it was time for me to say thank you, and I'm going to retire now and come and work 40 hours at SDP. So the snails. So what did Pam tell me? So the current plan is that the snails spend the day outside. Currently now they're in nut house with the car lot, we call it. And the plan is for them to come in the house at night, but to be in the feed room, which is right adjacent, and my friend Opal's with me, right adjacent to the kitchen. between the kitchen and the condos. There's a small feed room, but it's a large enough room for them. It's certainly larger than any kennel they're in. So the plan is for them to spend the night in the feed room. I guess last night, with everything that went on, they were still out there at 7 o'clock, and Pam said they actually had fallen asleep. And they debated whether to just leave them out there for the night or to wake them and bring them in. They ended up waking them and bringing them into the feed room. So, of course, they screeched on and off. Pam said they screeched for an hour, stopped, screeched for an hour. That went on for several hours until they finally went to sleep. Then they brought them in the house this morning. They had breakfast before I got here. I think she said somewhere around 5:30 they had breakfast. And actually, when I got here at 6:45, they were already back out in the car lot. So I think tonight the plan would be to bring them in a little sooner, either right before or right after feeding, and see if they can settle into the feeding room and fall asleep there and not have to, wake up and move. You know how when you wake kids up and move them, it's never a good thing. So hopefully it'll work out well for them tonight. They seem to be doing pretty well out in the car lot. I did notice when I was out walking around with Opal today, they're not screaming quite as much as they were for attention. They seem to be able to play with each other and, maybe learning to keep each other occupied a little better. So it's a step. It's a step in the process. Good night, Ryan. Oh, so people are asking about me. Yes, was I a teacher? I was I was a teacher. I was in the field of special education. I started out as a teacher. Through my career, I worked everything from pre-K to age 22 and everything in between. So I was a teacher, and then I was a school psychologist for a few years, and then gradually they asked me to move more to an administrative type of position. So I was a school-based administrator and then a district-based administrator, as well as a 5-year stint as a middle school principal. That's a job, let me tell you. My favorite job probably especially a teacher, to be honest with you. I loved when I was a teacher. But once I moved out of teaching, I enjoyed my role as a special education district administrator for the most part. For the most part, I did. So anyway, that's my story in a nutshell. Oh, see you in October, Sassy Bill. Looking forward to it. Yeah, 33 years was a long time. Would have been longer, but I took 6 years off when I had my children. I stayed home for 6 years. And then actually the district called and asked me if I would come back on a part-time basis to cover for somebody, and I came back part-time, and gradually before the end of the year I was back full-time. But I was ready to go back too. As happy as I was to be home with my children for the 6 years, when I came back I was ready to come back. So everything works out. Oh, Jerry bought a steamer. Yeah, it does a nice job. It really does a nice job. I used to have one. I may purchase another one for my own house. Yeah, poor Pam. Pam did the overnight last night. She's been working all day, and it looks like she's going to have to cover the overnight tonight, too. The scheduled person has called in sick. So unless we have somebody drop from the heavens to help us out, I think Pam's going to get stuck doing the overnight again tonight. So, unless there are any more questions, I'm going to say good afternoon to all of you. Looks like that's it. Okay, everybody, thanks for checking in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Mike is now off.